So, is Marvel actually back in 2026? The Spider-Man brand new day trailer hit this morning, and Tom Holland's post is already sitting at nearly 9 million likes in under 12 hours. However, I'm not quite ready to call this a total win for Marvel or a definitive return to MCU relevance. 2025 marked the first time since 2011, excluding 2020 for obvious reasons, that not a single MCU film cracked the global top 10 box office. Their absence from the charts last year, I believe, highlights several shifts, some of which are actually quite promising. We're seeing smaller projects claim a larger slice of the box office pie because fewer blockbusters are hitting that billion-dollar milestone. Honestly, I think that's a net positive since many Marvel films still turned a decent profit. In 2025, we had 3 MCU releases: Fantastic Four, First Steps, Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts. None made the top 10. I'd argue Thunderbolts was the strongest of the 3, yet it didn't even break the top 15. This decline in Marvel's dominance hasn't been a sudden crash. It's been a steady slide over the last few years. Back in 2024, Deadpool and Wolverine was the year's second biggest hit, yet it was also one of the most divisive MCU entries ever. It seemed to prove that the audience still showing up in 2024 and now 2026 prefers nostalgic established icons like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, who carry decades of history. Just compare the reception between 2022 and 2023. In 2022, all 3 MCU theatrical releases, Multiverse of Madness, Wakanda Forever, and Love and Thunder, landed in the top 10. Fast forward to 2023, and out of 3 films, only Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 made the cut. That was a finale for a long-standing team with deep emotional ties to the fans. You could blame bad reviews for Quantumania or the review bombing of the Marvels, but the overall trend shows that audiences genuinely care about quality, and interest is simply waning. This isn't exclusive to Marvel either. Last year, Superman barely scraped into the top 10 at number 10. This matters because these films have massive, inflated budgets. Often, a $500 million haul is just the break-even point. It suggests the current industry model is flawed. Studios shouldn't bet $500 million on 1 or 2 films hoping for $1 billion in profit. Look at Weapons. It cost $38 million and grossed nearly $270 million. Meanwhile, Fantastic Four cost over $200 million plus a $100 million marketing blitz, only to earn about half of what Weapons did. The thing about Spider-Man and Doomsday is that they feel like nostalgia bait, a greatest hits tour for fans rather than something fresh. Recently, Marvel's biggest wins like Guardians 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine have relied on legacy characters saying goodbye, or, in Wolverine's case, being resurrected for more screen time. I'm not trying to hate on the MCU, I genuinely love this universe and the era it defined for me. I believe these movies can still be great. This new Spider-Man looks promising, and the Sony-Marvel partnership remains one of their smartest moves. Sony's attempt to launch their own Spider-Man villains universe went much worse, so we won't even go there. What makes Holland's movies work is the cast and a commitment to interesting choices. I don't think No Way Home was overhyped. Even if people were just excited to be out of the house, the movie holds up creatively. However, it's hard to ignore that this year's big tentpoles, Brand New Day and Avengers, Doomsday, rely heavily on pre-established fan favorites. I'm excited for Spider-Man, mostly because it's fun to see everyone hyped again. But there's an asterisk. Reviews will be critical. Good word of mouth is essential for both films to prove we're on an upswing. I'm not even sure we should go back to the old way. While Marvel has been replaced by live-action remakes and movies about corporate brands, which isn't an upgrade, recent award seasons show that audiences are hungry for original stories. Hits like Sinners and Everything Everywhere All at Once prove that viewer interests are expanding. I'm curious about the MCU's future, but I'm open to whatever comes next, as long as it's not another live-action remake.